While my last commentary focused on music, I wanted this one to focus more so on the different shots that are in place throughout a movie, and how different camera positions are meant to elicit a certain response from the audience. Today I will be talking about Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko has become a bit of a cult classic since its 1999 release. It's one of those movies that you have to watch 3 or 4 times to really understand everything that's going on inside of it and make sure you didn't miss anything. One of the early shots in the movie shows Donnie taking his meds in front of a mirror. It's not the what that makes the shot interesting, however, it's the how. The camera is in a still position for the duration of this shot. The camera is pointed at the bathroom mirror. Through this mirror, we see Donnie walk up. He then opens the mirror, effectively hiding his face from the audience and bringing the focus to the shot to his bottle of pills. After grabbing them, he closes the mirror, again allowing the audience to see his face. While this may not seem like an important detail, Donnie disappearing from the mirror and then reappearing symbolizes a phase transition. After he takes these pills, he will begin seeing visions of Frank. The mirror in this scene the mirror is used to show that after taking these, he's on a path that he cannot backtrack from, one where he listens to Frank. This next scene is the first time, outside of deleted scenes, that Donnie converses and meets with Frank. This also happens right after Donnie takes his meds. This shot is framed in a really interesting manner. It might be hard to notice at first, but the door is to the right of the shot. The mirror makes it look as if the door is where the camera is located, but the mirror is open ever so slightly so that its focus is on the door. This keeps Donnie in the shot even when he's not in the shot. His reflection will be no matter what. It is also set up this way so that you do not see Frank immediately. If the mirror were adjusted, you would be able to see Frank initially.
Don't worry. You got away with it. How can you do that?
And how?
I can do anything I want. So can you.
Why do you make me flood the school?
They are in great danger.
Where did you come from?
Do you believe in time travel?
Who are you talking to?
The scene is then stopped before Donnie can receive any answers from Frank about what his future might hold. If you've watched Donnie Darko, you know that a major part of it is time-centric, specifically the ability to go through time. In the end of the movie, Donnie actually utilizes this ability to go through time in order to change the outcome of the movie and essentially sacrifice himself for the greater good of everyone else, everyone he knows and loves, which is what makes this next scene pretty relevant. That scene occurs when Donnie and Gretchen are attending a movie together. Gretchen is asleep and Donnie begins talking to Frank. Frank then opens up a portal on the screen, a time portal. This portal, uncoincidentally, is placed on the movie screen directly in front of a clock that is in the movie.
Have you ever seen a portal?
As you may have noticed, the portal appeared on the clock in the screen, right as the clock appeared on the screen. Also, during the duration of the portal opening up into the picture of that giant house right there that Donnie has to burn down, you could hear the clock chiming in the background, as if it had just struck a specific hour. That also kind of helps give the idea that Donnie's about to do something important or bad for himself or those around him. Just the ominous clock tone going off over and over while he's being convinced by Frank. Not convinced, rather, I guess more told to go burn that building down. A different kind of shot I wanted to talk about is kind of a parallel shot. There are two scenes of this movie that are very similar, although have drastically different outcomes. And one is about 20 minutes into the film, and one is about 15 minutes before the film ends. So, this is the first scene. And in this scene, Donnie is in the car with his dad, casually driving down the road. His father stops paying attention for a second and nearly crashes into a senile woman, henceforth referred to as Grandma Death. He is forced to slam on his brakes to avoid a collision.
Whatever you want.
Dad.
What?
Dad!
About 20 minutes from the end of the film, the near exact same thing happens, or at least the camera makes it look that way.
What did you just say? What the fuck did you just say? Our Savior.
So, the car is speeding down the road before it loses control, and it has to swerve to narrowly avoid hitting the same senile old lady, the same way Donnie and his father almost did. This time, however, swerving to miss the old lady causes the car to hit Gretchen, who's lying on the floor. Parallel shots like these, interspersed throughout the movie, help to draw connections between different times in the movie and different events in the movie. They help to add meaning to these shots, whereas if these shots were by themselves, they wouldn't be that important. Just the shot earlier, with Donnie and his father almost hitting the woman, isn't that important. But when you use that to set up this scene, in which you think maybe the old woman is going to get hit, or maybe Donnie is going to get hit, but then out of nowhere Gretchen gets hit, having that first shot earlier in the movie to set up for this one now, just adds a whole extra layer, I guess, is a way of saying it. Another layer of meaning.